Howdy y'all. Welcome to the Booth Western Art Museum. My name is Lynnette. I'm the Education Outreach Coordinator at the Booth Museum, and I am so excited to be joining y'all again for another live weekly art lesson. So today we are drawing another animal, which I'm so excited about. Any animal lessons I can get, I will take. I will do them. I'll do any animal. And today we are going to be drawing a barn owl, which I'm very excited about because I love owls. They're so fun. I feel like, you know, when you think of an owl, you think of like someone being very smart, and also the college I used to go to had an owl as its mascot, and I also just love birds. So this is just a win-win for me. And also we will be looking at an artist that we had for a temporary exhibition at the museum who did this lovely painting of a barn owl that I will show you in just a second. But before we get started, I just wanted to give my quick reminders that I try to do at the beginning of each lesson, like the fact that you don't need anything fancy for this art lesson. You just need a piece of paper and a pencil. However, I like to color my artwork. I like to use crayons and markers and color pencils. So if you have those things and would like to use them for your pieces, please feel free. Also, that yours does not have to look exactly like mine. I think today I'm gonna draw it the same, so you know it's a barn owl. But I'm gonna change up the colors on this one today. I think I'm gonna do a different background color. Sorry, I got distracted because someone commented and said that a barn owl is their favorite animal, which is so exciting. I'm glad to be doing it then. I also love owls. Okay, let's see what else. But yes, trying out new things to take risks and experiment and just to change it up a little bit, you know. Got to keep things fresh. And the last thing is that I want y'all to have a good time and to enjoy the process of making and practicing and getting better as an artist with these weekly lessons. So I'm going to switch my camera to the table in front of me so you can see that awesome artwork I was talking about by the booth artist. Well, she exhibited at the booth. Here we go. Okay, so some of you may, I don't know if I showed this artwork in a previous lesson, but if you remember, we did a lesson about drawing a bear, and I talked about this temporary exhibition we had at the booth called the Jackson Hole 5. Now, this exhibit explored the close connections that 5 women artists from Jackson Hole, Wyoming share with the beauty and nature of the area that each of them live in, and then they explore this through their different artistic styles. And Kathryn Mapes Turner was one of the artists that exhibited in that show, and this is one of the paintings that she had in the show. And also, if you want to go and look at this piece in a little bit more detail, there is it is a virtual tour of the exhibit. It's really cool. You can actually click through the gallery space like you're in the gallery and zoom in on paintings. And there's even videos of the artists talking about their own work in this virtual exhibit. And Kathryn Mapes Turner is one of those. So I would recommend going and checking that out if you want to learn more. But Kathryn Mapes Turner grew up in Jackson Hole, which here, let me really quickly pull out my map, because I'm all about a visual reference here. So if you are kind of where the booth is located, we're over here kind of in that upper part of Georgia, and Jackson Hole, Wyoming's way over here, kind of in this area. There we go, focused in a little bit. But Jackson Hole, Wyoming is near the border of Idaho, and then the Snake River runs right through it, and it is near Yellowstone National Park and Teton Mountain Range. Now, Kathryn Mapes Turner grew up here, and she's actually comes from a family who's been living there for 4 generations, and they've been ranching, which is crazy. And also, her father was a zoologist, which is a scientist who studies animals. So because of that, she spent lots and lots of time outside and exploring animals that they kept on the ranch, and also wild animals. And she said that which I really love this, but she has said that each of her paintings is like a love letter for her home and the place where she lives, which is so sweet because she loves the area that she lives, and she paints Jackson Hole like over and over and over again, and all the animals and the landscapes, because each time she can explore something new, which is very fun. So let's see, anything else? She actually did talk about how she likes to show animals full of life and movement, and also she did say that she loves painting birds, so here we go. Very excited to be drawing an owl. And she said that she thinks birds are delightful, and also mentioned that it's important to give an illusion of movement because birds are rarely sitting still. I think an owl's an exception, which I'm going to draw our owl today kind of sitting or perched because I feel like that's easier to draw. Sometimes drawing birds like with their wings flapping or in motion can be pretty tricky. And also, this bird looks like it's standing still. When she was talking about birds and movement, she was talking about a painting with some hummingbirds. So hummingbirds also are not ever staying still. I've never seen one just sit before. So I'm going to move her painting to the side, and then let's get moving on our drawing here. So the first thing that I would do is draw the shape of the face. Now, barn owls are very well known to kind of have this like heart-shaped face. It's not a perfect heart. It's kind of like a heart if you like smushed it and it didn't have a pointy bottom. So how we're going to do that with the owl's face is you're going to pick on your paper where you want the head to be. I'm going to kind of do mine similar to this, where it's kind of in this top right corner area. And the first thing that you're going to do is when you're drawing a heart, you draw like these two little curved lines or hills. Or in some of my paintings, I've kind of drawn this shape to show like birds flapping in the distance. So you just kind of want this shape where there's like a point in the middle and then it kind of goes out. Could be like two eyebrows as well. But you want to start out with this shape. And then instead of like, if you were drawing a heart, here I'll kind of draw one very lightly so you can see. You would kind of make it pointy at the bottom. We're not going to do that because you can see like the barn owl has a very rounded face. So you are basically going to draw like the bottom half of a circle for this barn owl. So you have kind of that curved top, and then you've got a rounded bottom for the rest of the head or the face. And then you are going to want to just draw like a hoodie to kind of cozy up all around the side of the face, and this will be like the outline of the head of the owl. So there you go. Now let's see. Now I'm gonna keep doing the rest of the outline of the bird. So we'll do this front part first. So basically, once you draw like your hoodie for your bird, you want to like curve it in a little bit to give like, you know, a hint that the bird has like a neck. And then I like to do a little curve out so that it's like the owl's kind of puffing up its chest a little bit. And then you just kind of do a diagonal line down off the page. And see, I was strategic in doing it this way because so you can kind of see in Kathryn Mapes Turner's piece, she has like the feet and talons of the bird here and the back of the feathers, which can be hard to draw. So I just decided, you know what, let's just not put the feet in here. Let's just leave the feet out so we don't have to draw it. Plus, in my opinion, the face of the barn owl is the cutest part, so of course we want to draw what is interesting to us, and for me that was not the feet. Okay, so now we are going to draw the back, which is going to go along the same diagonal that you did for like the front part of the owl. And you're going to kind of curve out to show that it has big feathers. And if you want, you can kind of create a curved line in like this to give like a hint of a feather. And then you can just continue that line off the page. Now for the feathers, I also like to make a curved line kind of here. So like if this line went up, this back part of the bird and curved all the way around, and then this can be more feathers and you can create some more kind of curved line shapes to hint at the feathers. You can also do, this is almost like the upside down, like drawing that shape of the eyes that we did, or a bird just upside down here, and that can also be a hint at feathers. Or you can draw some really long ones when you get further down the bird. So there you go. And then also, oh, I did draw over here some, almost like some more squiggly lines to show that this bird has lots of feathers, but without having to draw every single feather individually, because that's a lot of work. We're just trying to be easy. Now, we've done everything else except for the face, so let's go back and draw. We need a beak, and then we need 2 eyes. Now, the way I like to draw this is by drawing the beak first, which is basically just like the letter V. So you're just gonna draw that kind of just in the middle, and you can even curve the lines a little bit. And then basically these top parts of the V are where your eyes are gonna go. So how I did it is basically started here and then made another curved line and then kind of another curved line here. So now I'll do it on this side. Here we go. Oh, it's coming together. All right, and then if you want, you can create like a little beak at the bottom there. And I also drew, they're almost like little rectangles, or you can do this as circles, but drawing these in the eyes of your owl, because, you know, when you're looking at an animal and even a person, a lot of times in the eyes you will see like a white circle or a dot if they're in the sunlight, and that's like the sun shining off of their eyes. So I like to draw that, so that's what I did here. So I'll color around that with black and leave that white. So there we go. So you've got the outline of your owl. You can add any details that you want. I'm going to pull out my Sharpie because I didn't do that earlier. Here we go. And then I'm going to, this isn't going to take me very long either. I'm hoping that last week I was able to finish my drawing in the video, which I'm hoping to do again today, because I don't think this outline is going to take me very long, and then coloring I don't think will take me very long either. So here we go. And then while I'm drawing, I looked up some, as I always do, I want to know a little bit about what I'm drawing, so I looked up some barn owl facts, which I learned, I don't know if I knew this, but barn owls are the most widely distributed species, which means they are in the most areas in the world, and they're one of the most widespread of all species of bird, which is crazy because I think it wasn't last week, I think it was the week before, we did a drawing of a golden eagle, and golden eagles are also a very common species of bird. So it's like we're doing another one. This time it's just an owl. But yeah, they're in like lots of countries all over the world, which is very interesting. They have this heart-shaped face. And I did want to talk about just kind of how the barn owl connects to the American West, because you can find barn owls pretty much anywhere in the U.S. But when people were moving out west during the 1800s, animals could be barriers or gateways to the American West, just meaning that animals could help them travel out west, or they could prevent them or scare them away, basically, from moving out west. So a good example is like a horse. Horses were great for moving out west because they could pull your wagon, you could ride the horse, and that was very helpful to help you get out west faster. But then also there was other wildlife out west that might scare people from moving out west, like bears or wolves or even bison because they're so big, or snakes. So there's wildlife that might scare people from moving out west. And actually, I learned that there are lots of cultures and people that are actually scared of barn owls. I actually found that barn owls, people give them nicknames like ghost owl, which I thought was kind of cool sounding. But partly because barn owls, so you know how most owls make like a hoot hoot noise? Like hoo hoo. But barn owls make this really scary screeching sound. I watched some videos of barn owls, and I'm not gonna gonna lie, it was a little scary. It's not like a friendly sound. It's definitely a sound that I think is kind of meant to scare you away, I guess. That's what my impression was anyways. But that sound made people scared of barn owls, and some people actually thought that, like, if you saw, or people still think this, but if you see a barn owl, it's like it's a sign that something bad might happen. But that is not always the case, because barn owls are actually, they will eat like mice and rats. So if you live on a farm and there are like little rodents like that who are eating up all of your crops, barn owls will eat them for you, which is really nice. They're kind of helping your farm because they won't eat the crops. They'll eat like the things eating the crops. And also barn owls are what scientists like to call an indicator species, which basically means that if you see a barn owl, that's a sign that where it lives is a healthy environment. It means that there's not lots of pollution and that it's safe for these animals. Other indicator species are like frogs and salamanders. So if you see like a river or a pond or a creek and you see like lots of frogs or salamanders in it, that's a sign that there's not a lot of pollution in that river or creek, and that it's a good place for these frogs to live. Because a lot of times if there's pollution, the frog will just leave. They'll be like, oh, this place is kind of dirty and I don't like living here anymore. So I'm gonna move out. But if you see one, it's in a good spot. I love this owl, it's so cute. I did want to mention before I start coloring, because I'm gonna color mine kind of in some orange-brown colors, because I have a couple of pictures of barn owls here that you can look at to get some inspiration. But this barn owl kind of has some reddish-brown fur. The face and the chest area is pretty like white-gray colored, and then it's got like the reddish-brown all over. You could color it whatever color you want, though, because we did draw a blue eagle a few weeks ago. So it doesn't really matter what color you color it. This is another one that's kind of similar to the coloring that I chose. I was also looking at my color wheel because you have orange and blue are two complementary colors, which means that they are on the opposite sides of the color wheel, and that shows that these are colors that look very interesting when they're put next to each other. So other complementary colors, you've got red and green, which always reminds me of Christmas, but then you've also got yellow and purple. So it's tough. I don't know if I'm going to go with a complementary color this time, though, because I think I want to do a green background, and then I might do like some orange and yellows. So these are actually, if I'm doing these colors, we call that analogous colors, because that means they are colors that are right next to each other on the color wheel. So there we go. I talked my way through what colors I'm going to use. But artists use color wheels like that to just to get an idea of what colors might look good next to each other, like I just did. So I'm going to pull out all of my greens and oranges and brown crayons. Been really into crayons lately, so that's what I want to use. I also used, so when I was drawing this one, I used like here we go. It's like a peach colored crayon, and I used that to color like the face and the chest. I also used a little bit of gray just to add some shading, just so this part wasn't all white. I wanted to give it a little bit of color. So those are just some ideas I had from last time. Okay, so here we go. Excellent. Somebody was talking about how they see frogs in their backyard, which is awesome. That means you have a very healthy backyard. I'm just curious also, think about like what animals do you have in your backyard? Do you have any owls in your backyard that you see? Do you have frogs? In my backyard, I actually very excited. I have a rabbit living in my backyard because me and my husband are growing a garden with flowers, and we have squash and zucchini, all kinds of stuff. But we have a little rabbit friend that has come into our backyard and doesn't eat, he only eats the strawberries. But they have had such, it's just so fun to go out there and see the little friend that we have in the backyard. But we also see like hawks and stuff. I haven't seen an owl before, but maybe it's just hiding. All right, anyways, I did have a couple of other things. Oh yes, I did have some fun facts I wanted to share about barn owls. So scientists also, you may have heard of in school, animals being described as like producers, consumers, or decomposers. These are the types of animals that make up like, what's it called? The flow of energy in an ecosystem. So producers are like plants that, get their energy from the sun and produce things. And then consumers, like the owl, are animals that like either eat plants or sometimes they'll eat other animals, which an owl is a type of animal that will eat other animals. Like I said earlier, they eat rice. They eat rats and mice, or also known as rice. No, I'm kidding. So they will eat small mammals like rats and mice. But also, like, there are other animals that will eat barn owls, like actually other owls will eat them, which I thought was kind of crazy, but also just bigger birds in general, like hawks and eagles. But also one thing I wanted to talk about, which is kind of gross, but some of you may know where I'm going, but barn owls and some other owl species, when they go to eat like a little mouse, they will actually eat it. They'll just swallow it whole. Like because sometimes I feel like you watch like a nature documentary, and you'll see like an animal like tear up another animal to get to like their insides, which is kind of gross. But the owl is like, no, I'll just eat all of it. I'll eat all the fur, all the bones, all the skin. I'll just swallow all of it. But they also can't digest some of that stuff because it's really hard on the inside of your body. So like twice a day, the barn owl will actually cough up. Yes, it will cough up like some of that extra stuff that can't go through its digestive system into little pellets. And some of you, because I can't remember if it was middle school or high school, but sometime when I was in public school, we actually, in like my science class, dissected owl pellets. So they're like little balls and you can like pick through it, and sometimes you might find like a bone or I don't know, stuff that like a rock or some, like you might find some really weird or interesting stuff inside of the owl pellet. And then scientists actually will study them because they make a great record of what the owl has eaten. And it tells, it kind of, weird as it sounds, it tells a story about where they live. So, just some interesting facts about owl pellets. So, yeah, because I didn't dissect any in elementary school because I was homeschooled during elementary school. But I do remember in public school, I did dissect an owl pellet, but I just don't remember when. So just if you're a very young student, something to look forward to, which is very exciting. Also, I did see a comment where somebody was saying that they're in their drawing, I'm assuming in the background, they're going to put like a moon. So you may think about, where is this owl? Is it daytime? Is it nighttime? I think I say this like almost every video where we have like the sky, because you don't always have to draw a blue sky. You can draw, like stars or the moon, or it can be sunset or sunrise, and you can make it orange and red, or you could make it in the trees. Now we're starting to sound like a Dr. Seuss book. Me in a train or a bus. Up in the sky or on the ground. Okay, let's see. I am just going to I'm not going to think too much about the background, because when I was looking at Kathryn Mapes Turner's piece, I noticed that her background is very, like, it's it's got just kind of these big areas of color that look almost like triangle, rectangle kind of shapes. So I think that's why when I did this one, I didn't think too much about the background. But you know what? I did really like in this picture that I showed y'all earlier that you could see flowers in the background of my owl. So maybe I'll do that. We can let's draw some just little tiny flowers in the background. Am I bumping the camera too much? It's not too much. Okay. If I draw flowers, I don't know if I'll finish in time, but I might. There's still time. All right. Yeah, I'm not thinking too much about the shape of these flowers. I'm just going for it. Go. There we go. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah, we got to do some green. So I'm gonna do like a lighter green up top, and then I'm gonna get darker as I go down. Cool beans. Oh, dropped a crayon on the floor. It's okay. I'll get it later. We're good. All right. Here we go. Moving the table around a fair bit, but I'm trying to just go fast. But also, you don't have to go fast. If you want to pick this drawing up like tomorrow and work on it, or next week, or spend a whole year working on it, that's totally fine. Artists will spend a long, long time on their painting. Some artists will work on the same painting for years, which is crazy. Some people do it. They want to make sure it's just right. I'm okay though, because this isn't going to be the bestest thing I've ever drawn, so I'm not too worried about it. Go. Let's see. I have to wrap up in a minute, but I'm so close. Here we go. All right. So one thing I will tell y'all, when I was doing my barn owl research, which is something I knew, but barn owls have really long legs, which is kind of crazy because, like, if you look at a picture like this one, you might look at the owl's leg and be like, oh, it doesn't look that long. But a lot of the feathers kind of hide, like, the top part of their legs. And their legs are really long so that when they swoop into tall grass to, like, catch a mouse or something, they can reach in really far. So that's why they have them. But also, I don't know why, but I don't like looking at the owl and seeing its long legs. I feel like you weren't supposed to see them. And you see the big long legs of the owl and you're like, hey, what you doing? What you doing there? Go. Here we go. They're just kind of weird pictures is what I'm trying to say. You can look them up later. They're not like super crazy, but I just don't like looking at it. They're hiding their leggies for a reason, I guess. Okay, here we go. Well, this is pretty much done. Off camera, I will probably layer my crayons a little bit more to build up the color and make them look more bright. But I'm really happy with how this looks. And also, right before we finish, remember to write your name on it. And I'm going to write my name down here at the bottom, just so we know who made this. I also didn't write my name on this one, but that's fine. I pretty much never write it on my first example, if you guys notice. Alrighty, well, I am going to flip my camera around really quick to, here we go, just to my farewells. Here, hold on, let me I'm grabbing stuff. Give me a sec. Hello. Okay, so I would love to see the drawings that y'all did. If you want to share it on the comment of this video or use our hashtag #BoothMuseum to send it to us, I would love that because I love seeing what y'all create. I will be here again next week, same time, 10:45 a.m., the same place, the Booth Western Art Museum Facebook page, and that is going to be on July 28th. And next week's video, we're drawing some landscapes again, which we have done a handful of times. But we're actually going to be drawing a canyon next week, which if you've been to the Booth Museum, we have like a couple of galleries that have beautiful landscapes because the American West is just gorgeous. And we'll be talking about the Grand Canyon and looking at some artists from the collection that have done incredible paintings of canyons, let me just say. We're gonna look at some cool art next week. But it is time for me to skedaddle, but this has been so wonderful. Thank y'all so much for tagging along with me on this little journey, and I hope you join us again next time, me and the Booth Western Art Museum, as we work to share America's story. And I will see y'all again next week. Have a good one. Bye.